What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 234, and we start today's episode off with a game against Manchester City here, as City travel to take on the Emirates Stadium. Now, of course, last season City were the team that ran us closest to our Premier League title, but of course they didn't do enough to overtake us in the end. We ended up winning the title by, 3 points or 2 points at the end of the day? We won it anyway, and City came second. Of course, last season this fixture ended as a 1-1 draw. City side is really decent, as you can see right there. Some very good players in it, but I am quite surprised it's not as strong as it potentially could be. I mean, when you consider how much money City have to work with in the game, you would expect them to, spend more, I guess. And they have got some really good world-class players out there, but when they're still playing players like Scott Sinclair, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, he's a pretty decent player when he's on his game. He was very good for Swansea, but you'd expect him to do more than that, in terms of the players they buy. But the first chance would actually fall to City right from kickoff. They ran clear, but Jesus Navas's strike went harmlessly wide and behind for a goal kick. So he'd have a great chance right from kickoff there, but it was still 0-0. And from the kickoff, from the goal kick even, we pass out from the back as per usual, try and regain possession. Callum Chambers crossfields the ball towards Luke Garbutt. Here is the fullbacks keep between themselves. Savanier plays it through towards Mbanyang, who heeled heel flicks around Danilo, then double step overs round the last man, Vincent Kompany. Gets himself, it's not the last man, but gets past the man who was coming close to him, shoots from a tight angle, but ends up hitting the post, and City clear the ball away. So still 0-0, but both sides having an early chance each. Hisi Lazari kept past Richards, don't get himself inside and shoot, but Ruffier makes the save and turns it behind for a corner. And from the resulting corner, it's crossed in by Mesut Ozil into the centre. He picks out on by Niang, and Niang wins the header and makes it Arsenal 1, Manchester City 0. So Niang gets the goal. We do take the lead in this game, and we'd made a relatively bright start. First, the shot by Niang hitting the post, and then Ruffier making that good save from Lazari. And as soon as Ozil crossed the ball in there, I don't know why, but Niang, he's not the tallest of players. He's 6 foot, but I always fancy him to win headers for some reason, because he has scored quite a few for us. And you can see he's in a crowded area there. I think it's Kompany who's closest to him, but he still manages to win the header, get a lot of power behind it, and make it Arsenal 1, Manchester City 0. So we do take the lead in this game. In the 20th minute, City went relatively close. Zuccolini's strike goes just over the bar and behind for a goal kick. And in the 27th minute, a great chance for us to double our lead. Callum Chambers down the right hand side drills in a cross. City failed to deal with it, and Lazari's header goes wide of the post. And that was a really good chance there for our little Italian, who has scored quite a few headers himself, despite being only 5'7", but he couldn't hit the target. So still 1-0. In the 33rd minute, though, Lazari finds Kevin Savanier, and Savanier chips it through towards Mbanyang. Down the left-hand side, takes it round Danilo, then past Kompany, and shoots from just outside the area, and he hits the post for a second time in this game, and City cleared the ball away. So he already had one goal. It also had 2 attempts which hit the woodwork, but it was still just 1-0. In the 43rd minute, though, City pass out and get themselves forward heel. Hayes and Navas finding Zuccolini. Those two keep the ball between themselves, and Navas goes down the right-hand side, plays it back inside towards Zuccolini, crosses the ball in, and it's a wonderful take by Mbolo to level the score just a minute before the half-time mark. And it was a really nicely worked goal by City. Some really nice passing, patient build-up there. Navas and Zuccolini keeping the ball between themselves for working their way inside. And in Mbolo, it was actually a really nice finish, because Carboni came out to shut him down, as did, I think it was Callum Chambers, the right-back, who got drawn towards the play. But he just took one touch. He wasn't really even facing the goal, but he seemed to swivel and then half-volley the ball in over the top of Callum Chambers and past Carboni, finding I guess there wasn't really too much space for him to find, but he found it, and he does end up finding the back of the net. So it is Arsenal 1, Manchester City 1. It's Mbolo with the equalising goal, and we are on level terms in this game. And in the second half, as you can see, 5 minutes after the restart, Cavani had a free kick here, and Uruguay was quite a long way out, but he decided to go for goal, and as you can see, it does go harmlessly over the bar and behind for a goal kick. So still 1-1, and in the second half, to be honest, it was one of the most tedious second halves ever. Other than that Cavani chance, there wasn't too much to report. We couldn't really break City down. They seemed content to sit for a 1-1 draw, and the final chance did fall here. Mesut Ozil crosses the ball in, Niang wins the header, but Ruffier turns it behind for a corner quite comfortably, and it does go behind for a corner. And it was how the game would finish. So Arsenal 1, City 1, Niang with our goal, and Bolo right before half-time equalising for City, and it does finish as a 1-1 draw. And it's not a bad result. That's the same result we had last year against City. City are a really good side, obviously, but even so, we've now lost to Chelsea, we've drawn with Manchester City. Those are the 2 biggest teams we've faced in the league so far. If you want to win the league title, you've got to beat the big teams around you. So disappointed to not have won either of those games against the 2 big teams so far, but hopefully the reverse fixture against City at the Etihad might go in our favour. Still, we then had 2 international friendlies with England. We beat Denmark in the first one by a 0-0. I think it was Sterling who scored the late goal, which was nice to see. And the second international friendly was against Belgium. Obviously, as per usual, these get simulated, and I don't think we'll play with England again, as the World Cup is at the end of the season, but I don't really think I'll bother playing it. We took on Belgium. The Ox gave us the lead. They then equalised equalised through Nasa Chadley. They then missed a penalty, and Andy Carroll made it 2-1. So it's always nice to win the games which you simulate, but even so, it doesn't really matter too much, and especially because they're friendlies. But even so, I just showed them because like I'm England manager, so I may as well show them. But of course, they don't really have much relevance in the gameplay you're watching. But there you go. Still, we take on Spurs for the second and final game of today's episode here in a North London derby. So we just had a big game against Manchester City. Now we take on Spurs away at White Hart Lane. So I just said a minute ago, those are the teams we need to beat, really, those bigger teams. And Spurs on the game, as I mentioned before, sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't do too well. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them competing for a top 4 place this year like they did last year. Of course, last year they did beat West Bromwich Albion to 4th place on the final day. So this year I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and go one step further and possibly compete for the titles. We do need to try and win these games. And the first chance would fall to us, and Aubameyang strike was well saved by Michel Vorno, and Spurs cleared the ball away. However, they didn't really deal with it too well, and eventually as they win themselves a throw in here, they give it away. Silly throw right to Aikicek there. He wins it back for us, goes down the right hand side, another great chance, drills in across, and Lazari, well, I mean, that's just terrible, isn't it? Less said about that the better. Completely messed it up. Don't know how I messed up so badly, but I did, and it was still goalless. In the 23rd minute, though, a great chance for us to take the lead. Lazari goes down the left hand side, fake shots round his man Eric Dyer, and does get taken down, and the referee does give us a penalty. So great chance for us to take the lead in the first half of the first half here, as Eric Dyer does get taken down, and as you can see, Lazari fake shotted round him, and the English defender, he sort of just lunged in there with the left leg, and Lazari sort of initiated contact. He could have just skipped round him easily as Dyer was sort of set, but he just sort of seemed to clatter the knees in there, and it's a penalty at the end of the day. It's a penalty and a great chance for us to take the lead. So Niang is going to stand up and take it against Michel Vorm, and by Niang or Michel Vorm, who's going to come out on top of the penalty? It is Niang. Vorm dives the right way, but he can't keep it out, and Niang does make it Spurs 0, Arsenal 1. So we take the lead in this game, Niang with the goal, and after the draw against Manchester City, a pretty disappointing draw, I wanted to return to winning ways in this game, and Niang giving us the opening goal of the game from the penalty. That's exactly how we need to start this game, and we just got into the second half of the first half. That's what we needed to do, seriously, get ourselves an opening goal in the first half, and then really try and put the sword to Spurs for the remainder of the first half. So 1-0 up in this game. Spurs did almost equalise here, but Carboni had to make a good save to the nice Soldado and keep it at 1-0. And in the 38th minute here, as we pass out from the back, Mario Williams spreads it out wide towards Callum Chambers, our right back. Chambers takes a touch and keeps on going, then plays it through towards Aikicek, down the right hand side. He takes it round Ben Davies here. The Welsh left back can't get it past him. He tries to drill in the cross, but instead gets taken down, and the referee awards another penalty to Arsenal, and it's Davies who is the guilty party. So first Lazari was fouled by Dyer, now it's Aikicek on Davies, and it's a definite penalty again. As you can see, he's pulling on the shirt, and as I mentioned before, if you pull on the shirt of a player and the player goes down, it's almost always a penalty. So penalty to Arsenal, great chance to make it 2-0. Niang has already put one past Michel Vorm. Can he put a second past the Dutch goalkeeper as well? It is going to be Niang against Michel Vorm for the second time. Who's going to win round 2? Is it going to be 2-0 for Niang, or is Vorm going to level it? Nope, it's Niang who scores again. Same corner, same result, same dive for Vorm, but again, he still can't get to the ball. So Spurs 0, Arsenal 2. Niang's second goal of the game. Both from penalties, yes, but both penalties were clear ones, and Niang does punish Spurs. So 2-0 up in this game going into the break, and that's exactly what we needed to do. So Niang does make it 2-0 there. And in the second half here, 6 minutes after the restart, Fazio plays it straight towards Niang on a hat-trick. He picks out Kevin Savanier, and Savanier is denied by a good save by Vorm, and Spurs clear the ball away. But for the most part in this game, it was all Arsenal. Spurs didn't really have too many chances of note. Niang smacks the ball from the on the woodwork there from a mile out from the free kick, and then Welbeck's header is well saved by Michel Vorm, and it's still 2-0. And yeah, it was just a game where Spurs did decide to start pushing bodies forward late on, but didn't do enough. And as you can see, their misery was extended in the 83rd minute because they got themselves Fazio sent off. So they're giving away 2 penalties. They now had a red card as well. But the funny thing was, this wasn't like a biased North London derby. The referee didn't have an Arsenal shirt underneath his refereeing jersey. It was like every single call in this game he got completely right. That's a definite red card. He's the last man and sliding in from behind. The 2 penalties are definite penalties. So Spurs couldn't blame the referee despite the decisions going against them, because they were committing the silly fouls. So it's Spurs 0, Arsenal 2. Spurs now down to 10 men. And as you can see in the 90th minute, we would actually wrap off the game here and make it 3-0. Danny Welbeck cuts past Yedlin with a fake shot, holds it up and finds Savanier. Savanier finds Lassie, and Philippe Lahm's, well, possibly Philippe Lahm's regen. Lassie does make it Spurs 0, Arsenal 3 after he came off the bench to score his first Arsenal goal. So Spurs 0, Arsenal 3, Lassie with the goal, and a really nicely worked goal. Yes, Spurs were down to 10 men, but we kept on hitting them on the counter. I thought we'd probably score a third goal eventually, and we did. So So nice hold up by Welbeck, nice pass by Savanier, another assist for him, and Lassie strokes the ball into the bottom corner. Really composed finish there by the German midfielder, and it is Spurs 0, Arsenal 3. And I said we needed to win against the bigger teams in this league, and we do finally have our first one in 3 attempts. But that is going to end the episode, guys. So as always, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like. It's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out. But of course, you don't have to leave a like if you don't want to. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.